All right, JDs and Lentelman, welcome back to episode number 3 of the Has Been Sports Club. It is 3, right?
It's 3.
It's 3. Wow. Not even like that's a big number to count to. Anyway, this is a special episode as it is currently Thursday, February 8th at the time of recording this. So this is the day of the NBA trade deadline. Also, we are 3 days out from the Super Bowl. Gosh,
It's on the third day.
math is just not.
It's on the third day.
Numbers are just difficult for me today.
2 days.
So those are two pretty big stories, or I guess not even necessarily stories, two pretty significant events. And I think that's going to probably be the focus of our episode today. Probably do trade deadline stuff first, and then what everybody wants to hear is Super Bowl talk to close it out.
That's right.
So without any further ado, I think let's go ahead and dive on in to the NBA trade deadline.
It was not as exciting as I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be. But, there were a couple names that were moved.
Some good role players.
Yeah, good role players is a good way to put it because, your big name guys, I guess, don't necessarily get moved in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
They usually sign that contract in their free agency and stuff like that. So
Right.
To have a big name move somewhere during the middle of the season, that would have been the majority of this talk if it wasn't for the Super Bowl. But not the case this time. So I guess to start it off with some movement in the NBA, my biggest name that I want to see succeed probably is I want to see what Buddy Hield has to do with the 76ers going from Indiana.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Buddy Hield is a guy whose name I feel like is always thrown around during trade time, which is so strange because he is such a good shooter and just an all-around good teammate to have on any team that's looking at contending or, even developing teams. Like when he was being with Indiana and Sacramento, those are young teams that nobody really expected to be good, but they were good.
Yeah, and I think, he was a good player for Sacramento, and then he got dealt to Indiana, and I think he was a solid individual for Indiana in their lineup too. He gives you that shooting option on the outside, and I do think that he's a pretty good teammate. In my opinion,
definitely. You don't hear anything about it.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily make the headlines. You don't hear him in trouble. You don't hear him causing a whole lot of commotion. But then you do hear him pop off for kind of a career game every now and then.
Right.
So I think I'm interested to see what he does for the 76ers. Hopefully he gives them a lift out there with Joel Embiid being out for a little bit.
Yeah, that's what's surprising to me is how they're making a move like that. Like that tells me they're still making title push. It makes me believe that Embiid's going to be playing the rest of the year, just going to do a short rehab. Is what I'm starting to think. For me, I think my favorite name, PJ Washington, is a guy who had a lot of talk around the time he was drafted. He was in that 2019 class with like Zion and Ja, I believe.
Couldn't tell you.
I believe that he was the 2019 class. He's a guy who came in with a lot of question marks. A lot of people thought he could be really good. He showed a lot of flashes in college, and he just never really panned out to be that star level that I think a lot of people expected, because I think he was in the lottery. But he's sneakily been one of the most efficient guys in the NBA
lately.
And it's just, I think him getting dealt to Dallas is going to do a lot for them, because with Kyrie out, who is it that they've got over there who's been stepping up big time?
Maybe a guy named Luka Doncic.
Well, obviously Luka, but no, Dante Exum.
Yeah,
they picked him up, and he's been playing or giving him good minutes when he's healthy too. So it's like they're a feisty team out there in Dallas, and I think getting a consistent guy who's all about efficiency, a good defender in Washington, is going to do a lot for that team, because I mean, obviously your focal point's Luka, so you just need somebody to fill in those cracks, which
Yeah.
Washington can do well.
And I think he does. I think that's a good move for Dallas. I think it gives him something, gives him some younger guy, some fresh legs. You know, It's good for Washington because I mean, let's be honest, Charlotte was not a great team.
No, Charlotte's where players go to die.
Yeah, so I think Washington going to the Dallas is good. I think hopefully it's good for him. Hopefully it gives him an opportunity to shine with some other star players. He didn't get a whole lot of time with LaMelo there because LaMelo being hurt.
I think they were both kind of trading off injuries here and there. So
Hopefully, I think it's a good move for Dallas. I think it's going to be. I hope it works out for him.
yeah, no, I think so. That kind of highlights our two favorites, but there was some other names getting moved, like Gordon Hayward to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's just such a fun team to watch, honestly. How young they are and just how explosive they can be offensively and great defensively with guys like Lou Dort and Jalen Williams.
Yep.
Like both great defenders. It's a fun team out there.
Yeah.
And Gordon Hayward's just that good veteran presence that's just nice to have on that young of a team.
Right. And you get him to step out, shoot the three ball, everything like that. So I think that's going to be a pretty good move for them also. You
I
know,
agree.
kind of gives them a little maturity out there because, like you said, they do have young. You know, they got Holmgren, Williams, SGA. So I think that'll benefit them also.
I agree.
The Knicks, in my opinion, got better again.
Definitely. They're just like the staple of year after year, just making that necessary move that's going to
Good ones.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll help them in the playoffs because they've struggled, but you know.
And this is the year to do it, honestly. I mean, the Bucks aren't at full, like they've been so shaky. The Celtics the last however many years have just failed in the finals, or it's their late postseason, I guess, has just been questionable. The Heat are shaky. Everybody in the East has a lot of question marks. So if the Knicks were one of those teams where it's like, if you're going to make a push, now's the time. They've got the talent to do it.
It just gave them a little extra scoring opportunity. You know, Jalen Brunson the other day got double teamed by the Lakers and could not do much of anything. Right. So I think that going out and getting Bogdanovich, gives them another shooter, gives them another scoring option to where Brunson can go off the dribble, and if they do collapse, they have an option to kick it out, shoot it.
Right.
And I think that Burks' addition is pretty good too. You know, he's going to be a role guy.
He's been a good role player.
Yeah.
Another one, Spencer Dinwiddie going to Toronto. That one doesn't do a whole lot for me. Dinwiddie has kind of risen up to be a more well-known player, I guess.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I know he's struggled with a lot of injuries in his career too. Didn't do a whole lot when he went back to Brooklyn recently. So him going to Toronto, I don't know that it does a whole lot. Obviously, the focal point there is Scotty Barnes on that team. So
I think they got better with RJ Barrett going up there too.
Yeah.
You know? So
I don't know. Just seemed like kind of a throw-in because why not? But
yeah, the Knicks just improved with trades and the deadline, and I think they can make a push.
Yeah. So those are some of the teams that made moves. Another thing we should talk about is
teams
a lot
that didn't.
I would say there's quite a few teams, quite a few. 3 that I can really think of.
They were in talks.
Really,
they could have, should have, and didn't.
Right. Those teams being the Bulls, Lakers, and the Warriors. The Bulls obviously have been in a ton of talks between DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Obviously, Zach LaVine getting hurt, but it's guys like Vucevic, who was a difficult contract to move, but still, like all of those veterans were in talks of being moved for them to get younger and going to a contender like DeMar to the Lakers or stuff like that.
And they didn't.
And it never happened. The Lakers, I know, like as late as yesterday, were starting to heat up as like number one suitors to be making a trade for Donovan Mitchell. Like there's a lot of stuff I mean, they were supposed to be making moves for DeJounte Murray. Like, so they were in so many talks with so many different rumors swirling around about them making a move. And then
I was surprised that Murray did not move.
Honestly, me too. He does not fit in that
he was
Atlanta
the
team.
number one kind of prospect out there.
I would say after Zach LaVine went down, it was everybody talking about Murray.
Everybody was talking about him.
I guess the Lakers decided, hey, maybe D'Angelo Russell isn't too bad.
I think Pelinka missed on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Lakers, they've got the names that are out there.
Yeah.
But I think they missed because they didn't make a move. You know,
and you're talking about like LeBron possibly leaving at the end of the year too. It's like,
but they do have guys that haven't gotten an opportunity to play a whole lot.
Yeah.
Gabe Vincent, like he got picked up in the offseason, you know, and he's battled injuries, hasn't got to play a full season. I don't even know if he's even played yet, you know.
Right.
So yes, the Lakers can be better. And they do have the names. I mean, they're not out of it.
No, they're not.
And we know what they can do in the postseason.
It's just a tough Western Conference this year.
They have to stay healthy.
Yeah. It's like that's the thing, though, is like you've got so many guys on that team. It's like LeBron recently, like within the last couple of years, has started struggling with injuries. You've got AD, who is always hurt, which this year, knock on wood, has been surprising. It's just with the potential of LeBron leaving at the end of the year, if you were going to make another run, this was your opportunity. And they just really missed the boat. It's like you've got teams like Phoenix, who at full strength are a better team than the Lakers. You've got teams like the Clippers, who are already a better team. Not like you've got Denver, who's great. You've got Sacramento. That's great.
Minnesota,
OKC. You've got all of these teams that are all fairly close to championship caliber teams, and the Lakers are just getting older and just kind of wasting away on the clock.
Yeah.
And it's just
age has a lot to do with their roster right now.
It was just very surprising.
I don't know. The Clippers figured it out.
They did.
You know, everybody
how
was
to
like,
get all the old guys together for one time.
James Harden moves over. They don't win a game for a while, you know, and he said it right. I mean, we'll settle in, you know, and look at them now, number one in the West.
Yeah,
they've got it figured out.
They're firing
Hopefully,
on all cylinders.
They can maintain that because they've had good teams in the past and star players. And Kawhi's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
He's not in any talks basically because, I mean, he's not putting up massive numbers, but he's doing it across the board.
Right.
And when you have a guy that can do it across the board,
too.
you know, yeah. So
it's just the kind of player he is,
and that'll feed into other guys playing their role. And watch out for the Clippers.
Yeah. I don't think it hurts to mention that obviously the Warriors didn't make any moves either. With how off and on their entire season has been, I think a lot of people really expected them to try to shake something up, but I don't know. Maybe they're just waiting until the end of the year to shed contracts. Like,
I don't know. I'm not. There's a reason I'm not a front office guy,
right?
And a reason that I'm talking here.
Yeah, but no, that was just another team that was kind of surprising. It's like obviously you have Steph Curry, one of the 5 greatest players on the planet,
right?
And
but they're still struggling to win basketball games.
Exactly.
And when you're not winning basketball games, people want to see moves made.
Right.
And they didn't. And we'll see if they can have a better second half of the season.
Yeah. I say, just like with a team with Stephen Curry on it, you're not expecting a full tank. So if you're going to make a move, make a move.
Yeah.
It's like no better time than the present, you know? So I don't know. Those are just some of our thoughts on
interesting
what went over during this trade deadline. Like we said, it wasn't as big and splashy as I think we kind of expected it to be, with a lot of names being rumored that just never really actually happened. So that's kind of too bad, but there's always next year.
We'll see.
And the offseason. The offseason will be fun
Miami
too.
made that move for Rozier before, not at the deadline, but they made the move before the deadline.
A lot of the bigger name players moved before the deadline.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Should be interesting
We'll see
to see what it does.
Anyway, Well, actually, hang on, timeout. Still salty about the Milwaukee Bucks trading for probably one of my least favorite players to ever play outside of probably any other Duke player.
I mean, he's not a fan favorite of mine.
He's not a fan favorite, but I guess he gets the teammates behind him. He's a good locker room guy, but his game is just not appealing to watch.
Yeah.
At all. It's actually quite abrasive.
The guy's Patrick Beverly.
Pat Bev. All right. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Hey, I'll give you a hot take real quick.
Okay.
And I don't think you'll like it, but
that's fine.
I don't care.
Make it burning hot. Make it hurt.
I think that the Celtics will win the NBA championship this year.
Ooh.
And I think the deciding factor in the pivotal guy is Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, I don't hate that.
I think
he's always been good. He's just always been expected to be the number one or number two option. But now that he's the number 3 or 4 option, it is exactly where he fits.
This is a hot take in February to where the Boston Celtics win the NBA championship. And I'm not saying that Porzingis is going to be the MVP of the NBA championship.
You can be a difference maker without being the MVP.
He's going to be the difference maker for that team to win the championship this year. I believe it.
I can get behind it. I don't know how I feel about the Celtics winning, but I feel like if they get that far and they do end up winning, I feel like Porzingis would have a lot to do with it.
I think that's just a factor that's going to play a huge role in a playoff push.
It's another guy who's had a lot of issues with injuries, and I'm happy to see him succeeding. So
I mean, you look at the roster, you look how they're playing. I mean, hopefully it keeps up. But I mean, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. Hey, man.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
There's a hot take.
I don't hate it. Still salty about losing Drew Holiday. That hurt. Anyway.
Oh, well.
Super Bowl. What is this? Is it Super Bowl 58, I think?
I don't know numbers.
I think it's 58. 58 or 59.
I'd like for them to put numbers instead of Roman numerals.
Yeah.
That'd make it a lot easier.
It's been a long time since people have counted with Roman numerals. Very long time.
I don't do any math these days.
Probably back when they still kept dates as Roman numerals. Anyway, so we've got the 49ers and the Chiefs, as we talked about last week, them being the winners. So interesting matchup. It's a rematch of the 2020 Super Bowl. Just obviously the teams look quite a bit different. Still same coaches. One of the same quarterbacks, 2 of the same tight ends. Other than that, I think it's pretty much mostly different.
I mean, they got some guys on the line that were there.
Yeah, lines and defense. I'm talking about the fun stuff, like the offense, The
guys that get noticed.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but it's just reality.
You got Chris Jones on one side. You got Trent Williams on the other side.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be extremely high scoring, despite how good both of these defenses are. They're both obviously at least top 10 defenses this year. And I think the games are going to be surprisingly high scoring.
I think it can be. I definitely think it can be. I think that, obviously, on paper, the 49ers have so many more weapons.
Literally, on paper, it says the 49ers are supposed to win.
Okay, the line's at 1.5 right now in favor of the Niners. That's going to change by Sunday. Yeah. I guarantee it.
Not by that much. At this point, it's pretty much locked in.
I mean, I don't think it's going to fluctuate a whole lot, but
unless
I think that's
somebody gets a severe injury off the field.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that on paper, the Niners have more weapons than the Chiefs. But then again, you cannot count out Patrick Mahomes and what he does and who he incorporates and everything like that. But
as long as his receivers catch the ball, I mean, he's fine.
If he plays, if Tony plays, he might be a difference maker. Believe it or not, he's gonna come in so pissed.
There's
that
no way
he's gonna be a difference maker.
There's no way
Watch.
they even let him touch.
Watch it happen.
There's no way they let him touch the field. No way they've kept him out this long and then finally decide to put him in the Super Bowl. It's not happening.
And then he catches the game-winning touchdown. Yeah.
But it's gonna get called back because he was offsides.
I hope he plays.
It'll be interesting. I don't know. Anyway, so as he said, 1.5 point favorites. I mean,
For the Niners.
I think for the Niners. I think it's going to be a close game. I do. I think it could probably be decided by a field goal. I think it's going to be.
It'll probably come down to it.
I think it'll be a close game. I think people are counting out Brock Purdy more than they should, just because. I mean, obviously, this is the biggest game of his career. Mahomes has been there before, so I feel like that kind of balances out the weapon argument, and he has Travis Kelce. As long as Travis Kelce plays the way we know Travis Kelce is capable of playing, they're going to be just fine offensively. Throw in Rashee Rice, who's been a stud all year.
Pacheco's been good.
I mean, they're obviously not as high caliber as recognizable names as Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, but I don't know that my opinion changes much. I still think the Chiefs are going to win. It's hard for me to count against the guy who's been to the Super Bowl 3 times, won it twice, against a guy who's I don't think he's ever even played in a championship game in college, or probably not even high school. I just don't know how much I trust it. Granted, he's going to have a lot of pressure taken off of him because of Christian McCaffrey and his other big name players, but I just think in the end, the Chiefs are going to come out on top. More experienced, been there before, and they also have a very good defense.
As long as we can agree on this, I think the Chiefs are going to win also. Not saying that I'm disappointed in that, because I don't have a dog in a fight no matter what, but I do think the Chiefs are going to win. As long as they keep the 49ers offense uncomfortable, because as soon as you let Brock Purdy get comfortable, I think he's just going to be locked in. We've seen it too many times to where he just plays with so much poise and maturity, even at a young age, to where as soon as he's comfortable, that's a difference maker. Yeah. And when he's comfortable, he's got all the weapons to go with it.
Right.
But I still think that the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs are going to win. Am I going to be upset if the 49ers win? No. Because I really don't. At the end of the day, I don't care.
Right.
They're not my teams. Neither one are my team. Not that I have multiple teams. So I won't be upset. I genuinely think the Chiefs, just based on the factor of they've been there before.
They've been there. They know it. Their coach knows it.
Yeah. And I think that gets, I don't want to necessarily say overlooked. I guess undervalued.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's such a big moment, and it can overwhelm you if you haven't done it before. And I just think that ultimately is going to play to the Chiefs' favor.
I'm excited for it. They got the over under at 47.5.
It's a pretty high scoring game.
That's getting the ball in the end zone. But 47.5, I think we'll get up there. I don't bet. So for me to take an over and under, I don't like it. Vegas knows something that I don't.
Yeah. I'm not a bettor either. So I'm out on that.
But it is what it is. Chiefs win. I'll give a score of 24-27. 24-27. And I guess that gives me the over.
I can't decide.
It's okay to be wrong.
say 28-31.
20,
Chiefs.
31. All right.
Well,
who's your MVP?
Who's my MVP? I think it's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
It's got to be. If he carries that team to a Super Bowl win,
unless Isaiah Pacheco lights it up for like 250 yards and like 3 tutties.
I think if there is an MVP, it's Patrick.
Right. No, I'm with you. I think it's going to be Mahomes. So.
Yep, that's what I got. I don't know. You got anything else?
No, I think that was pretty much everything we had to talk about there. It was kind of the two main focuses of this episode. So I don't know that I have anything else I want to add.
What? Today is February 8th, Thursday. The Fighting Illini play in East Lansing, Michigan State on Saturday. Not going to be easy. Not going to be an easy test for Brad Underwood and crew.
Yeah, I don't know anything about U of I, if I'm being completely honest.
Back in the top 10. Back in the top 10.
Definitely don't know anything about Michigan State.
You know, they don't make many adjustments, which
Tom Izzo is the coach.
Kind of been Brad Underwood's way of coaching. But, you know, still a good team. I think he still brings good things to Illinois. But
fair enough.
Go Illini on Saturday in East Lansing. That's basically all I got for college basketball. I haven't gotten to watch a whole lot this week, so I don't have a whole lot of input there. Yeah. Big talk was Super Bowl trade deadline. That came up today. Super Bowl on Sunday. So if you got predictions, throw them our way.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about this. I don't know. Maybe not next week. Adam's going on vacation. We'll see what we can get when we can get back to you guys. Yeah. But as of now, go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
If I had money, that's where they're at. Well,
yep.
That's where it's at.
Yep, that's where I'd bet it. So, thank you everybody for joining. We'll see you next episode. Peace.
Later.